You know when you get a tool or a piece of machinery and you just really love it and you hope that they make it forever, but you know that they don't, and you don't buy a couple of them when you should, and then you regret it. Well, that's the point I was at a few months ago. I have a Stihl, I think it's a FS55, one of the very first weed eaters where you could change the attachments on it. Stihl calls it the combi system now. I don't even think they had a name for it back then. As a kid, my dad always had Stihl products, and I just followed in suit with that as I got older and started buying my own tools. And I bought this weed eater simply by walking into a Stihl dealer and picking out what I thought was the best one for me, for weight consideration and probably price at the time, because it was 25 years ago that I bought that weed eater. I don't do commercial work. I don't go out and cut other people's grass, but I do a lot of weed eating. And I also used it a lot, like on my hunting lease. If I didn't want to drag the tractor out there, like a half-acre plot, I would weed eat that down sometimes if I didn't want to drag the tractor out there and I had the weed eater on hand. So I put a lot of hours on that weed eater, and I also stressed it out a lot with this attachment. So I bought another trimmer head and took it off, and I used these brush cutter blades. And this one is a Renegade. It normally is red, but it's had so much wear on it that all the red is worn off of it. And I've got at least 2 videos out there showing how to mount these on a string trimmer head and how to use them. And I'm going to be doing another video soon because I've got another style of these. But this puts a lot of stress on the machine, and that little FS55 has lasted me 25 years with minimal maintenance. So recently I've been studying up because I knew that I needed to replace that string trimmer even though it's still running fine, and I noticed that Stihl was going to what's called a 4-mix. And it's not a true 4-stroke. You still have to mix oil with your gas, but it's heavier than a 2-stroke engine, and that's not something that I wanted. I wanted something that was lightweight. So I did some research on their models, and their numbering is a little weird because this is actually the KM94R. But they have a KM91, and that one's actually a 4-mix that's heavier. So even though this is a bigger number with it being a 94, it is a smaller cc machine, and it's also a true 2-stroke. And I'm going to demonstrate this. You can see I've never used it. I've only started it up and broke it in. So I'm going to put it through some paces today. But I expect that this is built well and will last a long time, just like the one that I bought 25 years ago. But my fear was they're going to stop making 2-strokes. With all of the emphasis on emissions with tractors and diesel trucks and just everything you want to use, the power is being robbed because they're putting emissions on or making you go to 4-stroke. And I understand we all want cleaner air, but when I'm string trimming with bad shoulders, getting old, I don't want that extra weight. And we are not sponsored by Stihl, just impressed. So I bought this with my own money, $450 some from a local Stihl dealer. And I just felt that I needed to buy a 2-stroke before 2-strokes were completely eliminated from the Stihl lineup, because that's where I feel that it's going. So part of what I'm trying to do in this video is tell you, if there's a product out there that was made years ago and you like it and yours is getting worn out, you might want to look into going out and purchasing it now before you're stuck with something that you don't want. Got my Florida sun gear on, and this is our blueberry patch, and we don't have a shoot blocker on our mower yet. So we haven't been mowing this, so I've got a little bit of height to the grass here. And this is Bahia grass, so it's actually a real stringy grass, a tough grass, so it'll be a good test of this weed eater. But let's see how quickly it starts. I haven't pre-started it. I just put gas in it, 50-to-1 2-stroke gas. And it's got a primer bulb here on the front, and the choke is right here. And I've only started this a couple times to run it to break it in. There's my stop button. And we'll talk about a feature that this has once we've done a little bit of string trimming. All right, but let's see if she'll start up. All right, so I'll go ahead and show you this. So it wasn't being choked, and what you got to do with the choke is turn this knob and push it in. But as soon as you hit the trigger, it pops it back out. And that's why it wasn't starting, because it wasn't being choked. Learning as I go here. Then hit the trigger and the choke popped out. Now remember, it's brand new. I have not done any weed trimming or anything with it, and it's only been started a couple times. It's very responsive now. Now it has this little wheel here, and that will limit how much the RPMs go up, so that if you're around flower beds or something, you pull the trigger all the way, but that's as fast as the motor revs up. So that's a new feature. I didn't have that on my other one. And like I said, my other one had a switch. This just has a stop button. And the line that it takes is 0.095 or all the way up to 0.105. So kind of standard size for a commercial trimmer. Straight shaft with the removable system here. All right, I think she's warmed up enough. Let's go over there and start trimming. Very first impressions. Stihl got it right with this thing. Plenty of power, quick response on the trigger like you're used to with a Stihl. I don't use a sling normally, but I thought I'd try it since it came with it. But my shoulders are holding up most of the weight, but even when I hold it with two hands, it's a very, very light machine. And I'm trying to vary the RPMs. I don't want to run it wide open. It's a brand new machine, but it's having no trouble with this grass that's up to 6 inches tall. Like, it's not even slowing the motor down at all. So I'm going to do some more throughout this video, some more string trimming. I got some thicker grass along the roadside there. But my second initial thoughts are this thing is way smoother than that FS55 I've been talking about. It's got the same bump and go type of string feed on the head, but it's smoother. The engine is no vibrations. It seems to be quieter. And all in all, I just think it's a great machine, and I'm actually going to share something else with you later on in the video that I'm thinking about, but I want to get some more time on the machine before I come out and say that. I'm going to string trim most of Piney Grove today, so if I come up with any other data points or anything to share with you, I will, but right now I'm just blown away by this weed eater. And if you're out there looking for a machine like this and you're wondering, you know, why would you pay $450 for this Stihl machine when I can go to Walmart and get, you know, a cheap one, I don't even know the brands that they might carry, for $199 or something. And I would say if you've just got a very small lawn and maybe you string trim once or twice a summer, then there's probably no sense in you getting a $450 string trimmer. But I'm one of those guys that likes to string trim, and my friends make fun of me because I'll be like, hey man, I just spent 8 hours today string trimming, and they're like, man, you just wasted your life. And no, I like it. I enjoy it. I come out here, I work up a sweat, I get some steps in, and I'm alone with my thoughts, and I enjoy string trimming. So for me, it's worthwhile to pay more for a string trimmer than maybe the general homeowner out there. Now, what I don't understand is why the commercial guys haven't jumped all over this model, because my dealer said he had never sold one of these, or he had only sold one in 6 years or 4 years or however long they've been out with this model, and that the commercial guys want the 94 because it's more more horsepower, more cc's, more just got more power. And I don't know what you need more power for. I haven't been in real tall grass yet, but I feel like this has just as much power as my 55, and I would put my 55 in, 2-foot tall rye in my food plots and not have a problem with it. A lot of it will have to do with the string that you put on it, and my dealer puts some Stihl 95 round string on it, and I kind of like a 5-sided string. I feel like it cuts better, but this cut really good. My fear is that because of lack of demand and also with emissions the way they are, I think this 94R model might be something that Stihl cuts from their lineup, right? They're in the business to make money, and if their 4 mixes is less emissions and pollutes less, then they're probably, as a green company or whatever, going to go in that direction. So I said earlier that I might say something that surprises you, but I might go buy another one of these and just keep it in the box. If this one's still running 20 years from now when I quit having a need for one, then I'll sell it or give it away or whatever. But I don't want to go to a heavier model. The power to weight of this thing is awesome, but it's just balanced. It's balanced and it's smooth, and there's no vibrations. The Stihl has always made a good engine, but either they're vibration dampening or their engines themselves are better balanced or something, but this has no vibrations in my hands at all. So I'm seriously thinking about doing that, going out and spending another $450, and then maybe when my 55 just totally quits working, then Deb will have one and I'll have one, and we can string trim together out here on Piney Grove. But I'm going to go out to the front, do a little bit do the whole fence line, and just kind of record some of that. And if anything comes up, then I'll mention it at the end of the video. But so far, 100% impressed with this, and I get absolutely no commission. If 300 of these sell because of this video, I make $0. I'm sharing with you something that is real important to me because I string trim so much. All right, let me get back to string trimming. I've been trimming for about 4 hours or more, and my opinion has not changed on this string trimmer. Well, actually it has. It's gotten stronger in favor of it. I've been using it in the woods. I took it into some really thick Kogon grass that I sprayed last year that was like 2 foot tall and really dry. There was no problem with that. It just cut right through it, no problem, didn't slow down at all. And then I took it in and against some briars, and it just sliced right through them. Now some of that is the line, but as far as the power head, it wasn't lacking for power at all. Like I never had to really run it wide open, so I was impressed with that. We probably have 1,200, 1,400 feet of fence line, so I did both sides of that. I did the ditch, and I went right down to the dirt with the grass so that the water would flow through the culvert. I did the culverts around the pond, and those culverts had some real thick weeds like ragweed and dog fennel, and it just went right through them. And some other things I'd like to mention about the trimmer is it's got an updated trim head, so it glides across the ground even better than the old FS55 that I have. And the throttle control is really nice, so I was able to what I call nibble around the wire, because if you string trim fast around the wire on a fence line at the bottom, it'll just cut through your string. Like you'll start out with a full length of string, and 3 feet later you're down to a nub and you have to hit it, you have to bump it to let out more string. But I was able to hold that throttle just barely above idle and just eat through the weeds that were right along the baseline of that wire. Saved a lot of string line and also saved a lot of gas. I think I've done 4 tanks of gas through it, and I feel like I've trimmed a lot more than my old trimmer with 4 tanks of gas. The gas tank itself is different than the other one in that you can't see through it. So I can never really tell how much gas was left in it, whereas the other FS55, you could just look down at it and you could see the shadow of gas. So I'd say that's the only con to this machine. I don't know why you would pay the same price for a heavier string trimmer that's going to cause you fatigue and make you work harder. Pay the same amount and have that 4 mix, which is close to a 4-stroke, when you can have this lightweight two-stroke. So my recommendation is, and I do not have any insight into Stihl, they may carry this string trimmer for 10 more years, but I doubt it because I don't think it's one that the shops are pushing out there. So I highly recommend, if you're looking for a string trimmer that's well balanced, got low vibrations, seems to be pretty easy on fuel, and is all around just a really great trimmer, I would look into this KM94R. Again, not sponsored, just impressed. But that's going to wrap it up for today's video, folks. We sure appreciate you watching. Please remember to click that like button. And until next time, remember, life's short, tractor hard, and check out these two videos right here. They're totally awesome.